What up, nerds? Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith for those of you who are joining me for the first time. And today I have a review, a non-spoiler review about the book that I just finished last night. I'm talking about Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee, who is Bruce Lee's daughter, and that's totally why I read the book. I love Bruce Lee movies, watching them when I was a little girl with my dad, and it was co-written by Fonda Lee. I know a lot of you have probably read Fonda Lee's. Why didn't I look up her trilogy? It is the Jade City. The first book in the trilogy is Jade City. I can never... Greenbone Saga. Woo, look at me go. That trilogy, I own that trilogy. I bought those books as they were coming out, just haven't made time to read them. So this is actually the first thing I've read by Fonda Lee. Really loved it. Very excited to actually make room for the Greenbone Saga on my TBR. So I read this one. It came out in January of 2025, so it's a pretty recent release. I was waiting to get the audiobook from my library so I could pair those together. I love doing immersion reads. It just helps me because my brain, for some reason, is so busy. So in order for it to make the transition into, okay, let's calm down, let's get into this world, let's see what's going on with this fantasy, having the narrator help me get into it really helps. So for those of you who haven't heard of Breath of the Dragon, it's a YA fantasy that has characters based on the teachings of Bruce Lee. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I had no idea this was considered young adult. I just heard that it was based on Bruce Lee and had to get involved with it. I know a lot of people don't like to read YA because the characters do read young. I didn't really notice that. Now our main character, June Lee, did grow in this book, but I enjoyed his character development. He was a bit pig-headed, he was a bit brash, and did not think about his actions before doing them. He was very impulsive. So it was a joy to watch how martial arts training helped him grow into a young man who thought about the consequences of his actions, thought about more than just his dream of being the guardian. For those of you whose ears pricked up when I mentioned that I did the immersion read with the audiobook, the narrator for this one is Eric Yang, and he did an amazing job. I really enjoyed how he did the different accents for those in the East and those from the West, and how certain characters that were refugees or exiled, how they would try to stamp out their Eastern accent so they would fit better in the West. He did a great job just bringing that out and making it stand out to the reader. As for my rating, so I used the call pile method to determine my star rating. I'm going to have that linked in the description below if you would like to read the blog post about how that works. My call pile rating was a 7.86 out of 10, which translates into a 4-star rating. Before I get into discussing how I arrived at that rating, let me tell you what this book is about. Our main character is 16-year-old June Lee. His dream was to compete in the Guardian competition. It's held every 6 years, and this Guardian represents the best warrior in the West. This warrior, their job is to protect the scroll of heaven. This scroll is said to possess divine powers. It's a very prestigious position to hold, and it means June Lee will be able to provide for his father and hopefully restore his father's pride in him once again. June feels responsible for the banishment that he and his father had to endure and the separation it caused between the father and mother and his twin brother Sai. There is a monkey wrench. June does display the ability and the talent to be able to compete in the competition, but his father steps in and strictly forbids it. Now, what does this teenager do? What every teenager would likely do in his position. He decides to take the money they have, leave his father a note to be found the next morning, and hightails it out of town and hitchhikes his way to the city where the competition is held. That right there, I'll be honest with you, that's half of the book. It may not sound like a whole lot, but there's actually a whole lot of really great character development, and then you start to pick up on, now wait a minute, this isn't just a YA fantasy. This is a political fantasy. As June Lee is making his way to the city where the competition is being held, each town, each village, news is being shared that the East and the West may be coming to war because the East has the other divine scroll, and people are starting to want to get these two scrolls reunited together in the same place, and that means war would be inevitable. I started really getting involved in that political fantasy part of it. I wanted more. So when we get to where the competition is being held, I'm like, well, so the book's over, right? Like, what's going to happen next? Y'all, that is where the story begins. It really kicks off into high gear. I absolutely loved it. Was just hanging onto the edge of my seat to keep going. I cannot wait until the next book. I'm so glad it's a duology, but my lord, I wish I had discovered this book later because I need the second book right away. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. Love the found family trope that is in this one. Oh my goodness, if you have a good found family trope, I am just going to be all over it. I also am a huge sucker for competitions like it is with The Guardian. I love anything to do with martial arts, though I've never had any sort of formal training in my life. I am not graceful. I love to watch the competitions. I used to go watch my cousins when they would take different types of classes. Those types of movies were what I grew up watching with my dad, so it has a lot of nostalgia from me. And of course, you know, all the video games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all of that is just washing over me, and I had a fantastic time reading this book. So it's not a unique plot. I'm sure it sounds familiar. I'm sure you've read something similar, but I feel like the characters, that's what made this one unique. I loved the characters. I loved the setting. I loved the descriptions of the martial arts. I loved the breath-marked abilities that were discussed here. So certain people, if they had the bloodline of the dragon, they were breath-marked. They would have scales that would be on some part of their body, and these scales meant they had a special ability, which they usually learned pretty young as a child what their ability was. So that's what made the competition so interesting, is because June Lee is not breath marked, so he would have to figure out, how am I going to compete against this person who has unbreakable bones? How am I going to compete against this person who feels no pain? So there's a lot of really great intrigue that had nothing to do with the political elements of this book. I loved the ending, even though it left me desperate for more. Please let Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee already have this sequel written. I haven't even had time to look up to see if there's a release date or even a title yet. I wanted to sit down, film my thoughts, and just basically my reaction to the book and share it with y'all if you haven't read it yet. Oh my goodness, I do think you would love it. Even if you're not a big fan of YA, I think this is one that all ages could read and enjoy and learn from. So that's it. Those are my non-spoiler thoughts and opinions regarding Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. I got this beautiful copy off of Amazon. It has these really gorgeous sprayed edges, and it also has a gold foiled hardcover of Bruce Lee on the front. So I got mine from Amazon, but I believe you can get this copy anywhere that books are sold. And now I'm about to go pop over and see if there's any information regarding book 2. If there is, I'll have that in the description below. Thank you all so much for joining me here today to talk about my latest completed read. I hope you'll come back and see what's going to be next. This weekend I will have my weekly update where I just talk about all the things that I've been reading, and I'll share about what book I'll be reviewing next Tuesday on the channel. So I hope you come back for more. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.